What's up, YouTube? It's been a long time since I posted anything to this channel. But now, now that I got this wonderful game right here, No Man's Sky, hello, Cole. I wanted to give my thoughts on this game, which has garnered so much two-sided views in the community, if you will. So, as many of you will know, this game has been hyped up the wazoo for the past few years. Because when it started out in E3, 2014 or 2015, I think it was 2014 when I first saw this game. I remember when I first saw the preview for this game, I was amazed at how awesome it looked, and just the sheer possibilities that this game could have. So, like most, I was extremely excited for this game. And of course, when they previewed it, there was no clue as to when the game would come out. So we would be sitting, as we would figure out for years, waiting for it to even have a release date. Fast forward to 2015, or I'm sorry, 2016, and we finally have a release date. It was supposed to come out in July, or in June, July. And the internet just blew up going, oh my god, we're finally going to get this game, it's going to be awesome, it's going to be amazing, it's going to be everything we ever hoped it to be. And then a few weeks later, rumors started bounding about that the game was going to be delayed. And then the internet just lost its shit. I can agree that it was very disappointing, very upsetting that the game was going to be delayed. But it wasn't a huge delay. It was a delay of a month or so to the beginning of August. And, I took it as, hey, it gives them more time to polish the game, gives them more time to make sure the game is going to look its best, maybe do some more testing, iron out the bugs, whatnot. It happens. At the time, I didn't know how small of a team was working on this game. Since its release, I kind of gleaned that information, especially from all the interviews and all the information I've read about the game, read about as it was coming out. It's a very small team that makes this game. A team of about 15 people. I'm sure by now that team has grown a bit since the game came out, because they've hired as the head of the company, Hello Games, who makes the game. The head, Sean Murray, has indicated the team has expanded. They've added QA, dedicated QA members. They've added people to run the ticketing system, and so the team's grown. So, anyways, I got off on a tangent there. So the game was delayed. People were mad. People actually responded very inappropriately to the fact that the game was delayed. They sent death threats to the guy at Kotaku who broke the story that the game was going to be delayed. They sent death threats to Sean Murray. I'm like, okay, people, it's a game. It's a game. It's not nothing should ever. No one should ever receive a death threat. I don't care what that person's done. Death threats are just horrible. But especially if it's just a video game that, yes, you've been waiting years to play, you need to have help if you're sending death threats to people like the guy at Kotaku or Sean Murray or people that work for Hello Games. So nonetheless, that horribleness happened. Hello Games and Kotaku had to deal with some unfortunate circumstances related to that delay. Oh god, don't die. Related to that delay, and they eventually announced the official announcement of the delay by Sony and by Hello Games, indicating that it was going to happen, and when the game could be expected to come out. Okay, we figured it out, the game is delayed, everything, and we have a new release date, and it sounds like it was a confirmed release date, but that wasn't going to be delayed anymore. Later on, we would find out part of the delay may have been due to a stupid 3-year court battle with Sky TV in the UK over the word Sky in the game's name, No Man's Sky. Let's not even get me started on how stupid that is. I don't think anyone should be able to trademark a name as a word as trivial as the word Sky. I don't think that kind of thing would be trademarkable in the United States. Maybe it is. Maybe even Sky TV owns the trademark in the United States. But obviously in the UK, it was a big deal for them. Just long opinion short. They're not in the same industry. There would be no confusion between the game and Sky TV. I don't even see why they even had to deal with them. Obviously, they managed to work it out. I don't know if money changed hands. I hope not, because, you know, as far as I know, Hello Games is a very small game studio. They don't have the huge backing of studios that do business with Activision or EA or Microsoft, Sony. I mean, granted, they did have the backing of Sony if this is a PlayStation exclusive. I don't know if the PlayStation exclusivity deal gives them Sony lawyer protection or maybe even some semblance of help from Sony in regards to legal matters. I doubt it, but you know, maybe they did. Maybe Sony's lawyers were like, "Hey, we'll shoot these people, we'll shoot these guys a few $100,000, maybe even a few $1 million. Just accept it for the way it is." Anyways, so they had that all done and dealt with, and one can possibly assume that was part of why the game was delayed. So, weeks leading up to the game's official and now release date, we started seeing more and more content coming out, showing the game, showing how it works, and we even started seeing people that received early copies from either stores that were releasing it early or people who managed to get their hands on leaked copies somehow. And again, the internet lost its proverbial shit. The game that they were playing was not what they were expecting. And I guess at this point I should have kind of expected this is how the game was going to be when it officially came out, because of the fact that the internet is never happy. One of the great things about the internet is it's full of diverse people from all around the world, diverse cultures, diverse opinions, but one of the bad things about the internet is the same thing. That it's full of people from all around the world, diverse cultures, diverse opinions, and so you're going to have people that are just going to blow up over something like a video game that they're paying $60 for. So again, you know, people were like, hey, this might not be the complete game. There's always, lately, it's been almost a guarantee that games come out nowadays with day one patches, so the game may look significantly different than what we're seeing here. Let's all just chill and wait till the game officially comes out, or at the very least wait until the reviewers get their copies of the game and get to see everything as it should be. I would hope as it should be. So what we found out eventually is that the reviewers weren't going to get the game until a couple days before its official release date. Possibly, more than likely, because Hello Games is still working on the day one patch. They wanted the game to be a bit more stable, and a bit different than what was going out on the Master, which they had finished 2 weeks prior to that. And so some of the reviewers were like, well, we're not going to be able to review this game in time for its release date, so there are going to be delays in that area. And that was, okay for some people, not okay for others, etc., etc. Some people are already saying, oh, this game's going to be a huge flop. I highly doubted that, because even with the massive amount of hype that this game generated, there were going to be still a large number of people that were going to buy this game digitally, and that's guaranteed money for Hello Games and for Sony. And of course there was going to be a PC version, and the PC gamers have a tendency to buy more than console gamers in some areas, just simply because there are more PC gamers than there are more console gamers. So, a few days before the release of the game, another pitfall happened with the game's release. And a lot of this probably could have been mitigated by Hello Games having a PR team from day one. They maybe could have handled the control of the hype, or the amount of information that was being disseminated from the hype. And the hype might have died down a little bit, or even a lot more, if they had a dedicated PR team. But I think Murray and the folks at Hello Games wanted to ride on the fact that they were a independent studio that had came from a big AAA studio. They didn't want to have to rely upon they wanted to be able to rely upon their own devices. They wanted to be able to do everything, wear all the hats, if you will. Maybe they couldn't afford to do dedicated PR teams, or even have a bigger team than they did because of the small nature of the game. No, whatever. It just didn't happen. And that may be something that they'll rethink down the road if they do a sequel to No Man's Sky, or if they do a spiritual sequel to No Man's Sky, maybe something space exploration like totally unrelated to No Man's Sky. I would recommend to them, it's just a layperson, have a PR team. Have somebody to say, here's what you should say, here's what you shouldn't say, because overstating things will draw the ire of the internet, and you certainly don't want to do that. Anyways, what I'm doing right now is I'm just trying to I'm just mainly resource gathering as I talk. It helps me focus more on what I'm talking about rather than what I should be doing in the game. So if you see me just wandering around, that's why. Although I should be working on finding some Titanium, because I want to do an upgrade for my exosuit. I might just go back to space and get one that way, because walking around with Titanium is kind of a waste of my time. I think I'm going to do that. Then we can harvest some more asteroids. So we finally get up to a few days before the game's coming out, and Sean Murray has to announce that the PC version of the game is going to be delayed a few days. And at this point, I should have realized myself that, man, this game is going to have a shitstorm to deal with, because not only do they have all that hype to live up to, but they've had all these bumps in the road to get over. The delay of the game for a month for all systems to delay up the PC version by a couple days. And we eventually realized why they delayed the PC version for a couple days. Because it was broken. It was broken in a lot of areas of the game. Not necessarily for all PC players was it broken, but it was somewhat broken. So the game comes out. I myself was super stoked for the game, even with all this negative press, negative comments from people on the internet coming out. I was still super stoked for the game. A little bit, deep down inside, I knew that there could be a possibility that I could be disappointed with what I see, but I wasn't too concerned over that. I knew that a lot of the game was going to be very Minecraft-like, and I like Minecraft, so I knew that this was going to be like Minecraft in space, and I was going to enjoy that enough. Maybe make it worth my $60. So I bought the game digitally for that day. I could have got it hard copy, which would have, one, given me an opportunity to get a refund if I didn't like the game, or to trade it in if I couldn't get a refund because I kept it long enough, but just didn't like the game and I wanted to get some more money back. I didn't want to do that. I had enough faith in Hello Games and what I saw in the game to buy it digitally. So the game comes out, and of course I'm playing it right at midnight, and so we're now going to get into my review. So you sat through all my rambling, trying to get to my review of the game. My initial reviews of the game were a little... I was a little confused. And I think this might be a fair assessment for a lot of people, because the game doesn't really have what I would call in-depth tutorial. It gives you some, it gives you tips, like it's doing right now, telling me to recharge my photon cannon. It gives you tips and tells you what you can do to play the game, to survive in the game. So for those of you who have not played this game, you start off on a random procedurally generated. One of the main benefits of this game, one of the main features of the game is that this is a procedurally generated universe where supposedly the universe filled with about 18 quintillion planets. That every person that starts No Man's Sky is supposed to start on a unique planet to them. Everything's supposed to look different to them compared to other players that play it. And so that was what was going to make playing this game so great. It was going to be a unique experience. And I still think it is somewhat a unique experience in many ways that a lot of the people who are negative about the game don't either fail to realize or just refuse to realize. But anyways, you start off from the planet that you're thrown into, a different planet for everybody. The planet's got its own name, unique to it. You're all in Euclid Galaxy, but you're all start off in a different section of the galaxy, on a different planet than anyone else. And the first thing it does to me, which I either didn't realize or maybe I hadn't seen in the interviews and information spread about the game, is you start off with a stranded, basically, with a busted ship, and you have to repair it in order to get off the planet and move along the way. So that's kind of a mechanic that a lot of games use to put you in a situation where you need to fix something to get yourself out of it. So the first thing that kind of made me confused is, well, I knew what I had to do. I wasn't 100% certain how to figure out where to find the components to make up or repaired the parts of my ship that I needed to. Eventually, I figured that out. But for some players, I imagine, why is my face beam doing that? Weird. So you eventually figure out, how to mine materials, where you're going to find oxides, where you're going to find silicates, where you're going to find the things like carbon, uranium, and the like. And there's, according to game developers, there's 3 paths you can follow. The main path is the Atlas path, which I didn't know what the Atlas path was until after I had made the mistake of not following the Atlas path. So when I eventually figured out, hey, there's this very important story mechanic called the Atlas path, you were supposed to, click on the red sparkling orb, follow the Atlas path, and go along the way. I don't think I did it right, so I was kind of hoping I could backtrack and, accept the Atlas path, because I wanted to eventually make it to the center of the galaxy and beat the game. And I hope to platinum this game. I'm going to play it enough, I want to get all the trophies, I want to platinum the game. The only way I'll be able to platinum is if I can finish the story. Unfortunately, I went back to my, after I had fixed my ship, found all the ingredients I needed to fix my ship, including the herdium, which took at least an hour to find. I made it off my planet, into my solar system. I eventually found the blueprints for a hyperdrive and for antimatter, and then I also realized that I got a pre-order ship, so I switched to pre-order ships that already had a hyperdrive. Built the antimatter blueprint, built a warp cell, and left my solar system. All before I had known anything about the Atlas path, or figured I needed to do the Atlas path. By the time I did figure it out, because I had done most of this in my first playthrough the night it came out, so there wasn't a whole lot known about all this stuff until it was all publicly being spread when the game finally came out. So I felt to myself, okay, I'll need to go back, do the Atlas path thing, and move along with the storyline. I go back to my original star system, I go back to my original planet, can't find where my ship originally came up out of. Okay. Well, time to go back to the start. Go back to space and sell stuff. Space station. That's the word I'm thinking of, space station. So I was kind of bummed out, oh man, I'm not going to be able to follow the Atlas path, so I didn't accept it. I thought about deleting my save game and starting new, but by that time I'd put in 4 or 5, maybe 6 hours of the game, and I didn't really want to do that. So I looked up on the internet, looked up on Reddit, saw a couple people that had done the same thing I did. They didn't accept the Atlas path, and people kept saying, oh well, you can do it, they'll ask you again down the line, or you'll still be able to find the Atlas stones within the game, yada yada yada. So I'm like, okay, I'll figure it out as I go. And so that's kind of where I've been going for the last week or so that the game's been out, trying to follow along the path, even though I felt like I wasn't sure if I was going in the right location or going down the right area, but when I found the first Atlas structure, first Atlas station, I figured I had to have been going in the right area, or else I would never have been led that way. Got my first Atlas stone, and it's been in my inventory the whole time. A couple times I thought, I could sell it, maybe I'll find another Atlas stone, I'll find enough for the end game. And I'm like, no, what if I I can only get 10 Atlas Stones and no more. Why sell it? Until it got to today, and I'm like, eventually I'm going to finish this game, I imagine, but it probably won't happen before I get the end of the game spoiled, so I might as well go look up the end of the game, see what happens when you get to the center of the universe. So if you're watching this, spoiler alert, I'm going to reveal what happens at the end of the game. If you don't want to know, leave now. You gone? Okay. So, the end, what it turns out, the end of the, when you get to the center of the galaxy, all that really happens is you experience like 2 minutes of music and fancy traveling through the stars, kind of like the beginning of the game, and then you get back to the white screen that you saw at the beginning of the game. Before you do that, it tells you galaxy found, the Hilbert galaxy found. So I figured, oh great, the end of the game is you find another galaxy, and you can go into that galaxy and try, and maybe this time you'll be able to do everything as you want to do it and not have to follow a linear story path. Well, it turns out that it's at the end, it doesn't just put you in your ship, because you essentially travel through a black hole to get to the end of the game, or you warp through space to get to the end of the game. You don't come out into the middle of the star system and have more planets to go through in a new galaxy. No, you start off from scratch again. You're on a random planet, stranded with a broken ship. Now, the person that I saw do this, their ship was completely reset. They had the DLC ship, or the pre-order bonus ship, like the ship I originally had. He had this standard number of slots. So if he had a 48 slot ship before he ended the game, and at this point now his ship is completely reset back to the default at the beginning of the game. His exosuit inventory is still maxed out, and he still has stuff in his exosuit in his inventory, but his ship is completely reset. That may have just been how his game looked. I'm not 100% certain yet if your ship does reset, because if I can understand being stranded on the planet, still have everything, all the upgrades built into your ship, but you have to repair some of it just to get off the planet. Okay, that would be fine. As long as I still have my upgrades, I still have all my slots on my ship. I still have the ship that I spent dozens of hours and possibly lots of units to get, then I would have been okay. I would have been okay with that. I was initially disappointed with the fact that this is how the game ends, is that you just find a new galaxy and you just start back at the beginning of the game. Albeit though still with your upgraded exosuit, and maybe with your upgraded ship. I'll have to look further into that to see if maybe that person just had a glitch, because this game is full of glitches. This game is full of bugs. It's very possible his game glitched and reset his ship to the beginning, or that is how the story intends you to do. Because I could understand the developers wanting to increase the difficulty on you a little bit by eliminating some of the benefits you get from an upgraded ship. The problem I see with that, though, and this is what is kind of keeping me from ever finishing the game, is you spend 30, 40, maybe even 50, 60 hours getting that ship, getting it upgraded, getting everything that you've spent all that time for, and then just have them take it away? if I didn't know that was the end game, I probably would have been pretty pissed and stopped playing the game for a while. I mean, obviously I can't get a refund. I bought it digitally. I would stop playing the game. So now that I know that that's the end, I may stay away from it until I get a better idea of, one, if you keep your ship upgrades, and two, if there is any benefit to you even going through with that. What I have found out is that you can do this over and over and over again as many times as you need. Go through the process of having the game go back to the beginning, travel, take however many hours it takes for you to get through to the center of the galaxy, and you'll get another galaxy. The first 5 galaxies have specific names, but after that they are randomly generated. From what I've seen on Reddit, they're randomly generated. Somebody with a mod or a trainer actually duped the game into convincing them that they were in the 5th galaxy and that they should be they were then randomly generated a 6th galaxy name. And it sounds like you can pretty much do this infinitum as long as you want. So that's the end of the game. For a lot of people, what the sound of it is, it's very disappointing. That just adds to the disappointments that I think a lot of people have with the game. But let me say that this is not a negative review of the game. I actually like the game as I'm playing it right now. I find the inventory management to be tedious and to be a little bit of a headache. I hope that developers will eventually change that. Maybe make certain things stackable that right now are not stackable, like here, make these things like the electron vapor or the Carrot sheets, or maybe even increase the items that you can stack, increase it on the exosuit to 500 and on the ship to 1,000. Make it a little bit easier for us to hoard certain resources, because we don't want to have to go searching for them and especially if we're on a planet that's not rich with that resource. That's very problematic. And especially for the fact that in order to beat the game, regardless of whether you're doing it the first time or the 5th time, you have to have 10 Atlas Stones to do so. That's going to make your limited inventory space limited, because you're going to go around carrying 10 Atlas Stones, either in your ship's inventory or in your exosuit inventory. I don't know how many inventory slots on your exosuit you get, but on your ship, the max is 48. So that seems like a lot. 48 slots, that seems like a lot. But also think about the fact that every upgrade you put on your ship takes up a slot. So here you see I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can't do that. 3, 6, 7, 8, 12. Yeah, 12. 12 feature slots, as I'll call them. Feature or upgrade slots. So your hyperdrive takes up a slot. Your pulse drive takes up a slot. Your shields take up a slot. And every upgrade for your shields, pulse drive, and warp drive take up a slot. Your upgrades for your weapons take up a slot. So that's a lot of slots that they can take up. And the fact that you're encouraged to combine each level upgrade together, so Sigma, Theta, etc. You could have 5 upgrades for your pulse engine, 5 upgrades for your warp engine. That's a lot of slots that you can take out. So I really would like them to change the way inventory management works. So my overall review of this game, I initially, when I first finished my full first day or two of playing it, I gave it a 7 out of 10. 7 or 8 out of 10. I would say more 7 out of 10. After I played it for, at this point I've played it for about probably 15 to 20 hours. Actually, I might be able to check out. There's a journey tab that can give you stats on your playing of the game. Maybe it might tell me how long I've been playing the game. So I've traveled 90,000 units. These are my milestones. Okay, I kind of hoped it would tell me how long I've played the game. I'd say I played about 15 to 20 hours. Hey, Thamium! Let's see if I can do my upgrade now. Slow you down. How much Thamium did I get? 18. Looks like I do have enough for my shield boost. 6 months.
Technology installed.
Ooh, on the drop pod. Get another exosuit upgrade. So, in the 15 to 20 hours I've played this game, I still say that the game itself still deserves a 7 out of 10 score. It's one of those games that you just want to play where you want to just roam around, explore, maybe gathering resources is one of your favorite things to do. I know that, I'll play Minecraft for hours on end, just mining for diamonds. So that could be something that I could do with this game. I could spend hours on end mining for emerald or gold, which I have done. I have spent that amount of time mining for emerald or for gold. I've spent an hour or two doing any of that. So overall, I feel like my $60 were well spent. And I hate how this game will give you waypoints to shelters, and this is their example of a shelter. It's a save point. I mean, obviously that is the shelter, but that's just a save point. Why don't you give me a drop ship like I wanted? So the things that I feel like need fixing or need improvements in the game. First of all, inventory handling, as I mentioned before. That could use an upgrade. Mainly with stacking objects. So let's see with this 9780, 7809. So the 780 stay in the same spot. Okay. 8097, so the 8 moved over. So it's 0978. Hey, signal detected. What could it be? A ruin! Joy! Let's make another bypass chip. See if I can try to find... Oh, I have 2 of these things. That's interesting. Did I use this one already? Let's hope I use it. The next thing I would say that annoys me is every time one of your okay, so it just showed me the same thing. Oh nope, that is a shelter. Dang it. That's not what I wanted, game. Alright, one more bypass check. Let's see if it'll give me what I want. Yeah. Thought maybe finding a transmission. I can see if I can find a ship. There we go. Drop pod detected. Yay. So the fact that your suit is warning you about your power of each one of your features every 25%. That's not the problem. It's the fact that it does it vocally every time. So when I'm walking around the planet, every 25% of my life support low. Life support low. Life support low. Okay, I get it. Life support is low. Even though it's really not low because it's at 75%. I think that's bad English on the computer, but anyways. So if they could stop that, I mean, make audible warnings happen at 50% or even 25%, or even give us the option to customize that. That's less likely that they're going to do that, because the more customization options they add, the more things they have to debug. Yay, another exosuit slot. I'm curious, really curious how many exosuit slots you can have. That might be the max. 25 maybe. So that could help. Certainly fixing all the bugs and glitches in the game would help. When I did find the black hole, thanks to the people at the anomaly, and I tried to travel through the black hole, my game would crash every time I hit it. So eventually I just stopped and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to go to a different star system and backtrack around back to the black hole, which that works. I traveled to a different star system and then did another warp jump to the black hole, and eventually traveled to the black hole and traveled like some 300,000 light years. So that's great. That worked. But the fact that it was crashing every time was not originally. It was not very. It was a bit frustrating, but hopefully that is something that they will fix eventually. Get things underwater. It is. I would like to, if they could improve the controls when you're fighting in space. I still have problems with space battles. I feel like the other ships, their photon lasers take me down way too quickly. And maybe I'm just not very good at space simulators, because I haven't played Space Simulator in a long time. My last space simulator I think I played was like TIE Fighter and X-Wing on the PC. So I'm not very. I guess you could say I'm not very good at fighting in simulators like that. So if they could make that a little bit easier, that would be great. Finding resources, I wish that was a little bit easier. You know, if you scan an area, I think the icons should stay on the screen a bit more. So here, I'm here. Where's the ruin? Where's the signal? Go back up. Am I gonna make it? I hope so. Holy cannoli, I did not know it was this deep. Oh god, am I gonna die?
Toxic protection falling.
Woo! Who knew that the freaking water was that deep? Okay. And I got some other things that I wasn't too kind of hard to think right now for some reason because when I was thinking about this off video, obviously, I had plenty of things to say. Oh, you know, this would be great if they fixed this or if they changed this. Now I can't think of anything. Back to the space battles. I think those could do with a pretty sizable overhaul. Not as big an overhaul as inventory management. If they could change the ending of the game, that would also be, in my eyes, a bit beneficial. Because at this point, I'm not really sure if I want to finish the game. If I want to finish the storyline and unlock another galaxy, for the simple fact that I don't have any encouragement to do that, other than just to be able to see another galaxy. It sounds like, based on what I've read from people who have finished the game. Ooh, is that gold emerald? Oh, wonderful. Incoming storm. Emerald! Give me all your money. See if I can do this before the storm kills me. Here's something that I just now thought of. When you're destroying giant chunks of ore, like emerald, copper, or aluminum, if they could increase the, I don't know if you want to say it's the hitbox or whatever garners how it lets all these little pieces hang in the air, why don't you make it to where you don't have these like tiny pieces left over. Make every piece be somewhat uniform size, so you don't have these little tiny pieces hanging in the air. You see it right there. There's a little tiny piece of emerald just hanging in the air there. And I'm sure that has to do with the physics engine. I don't know if you say it's a bug or if it's a feature. I need to get back to the ship very soon because the storm is destroying me. If you would have asked me day 1 or day 2, I would have said Sentinels suck, but I've found a pretty surefire way of dealing with them when I'm on the planets now. I've got photon cannon or plasma cannons on my multi-tool, and that works fairly well getting rid of them. They're kind of OP. Oh, and that's something that I could certainly ask them to fix. That's certainly not supposed to happen. That's happened a couple of times to me, where I have mainly intended to get back up in the air and traverse the planet some more, and what does it do? It pops me entirely out of the planet altogether. So that is certainly a bug. Hopefully they know about that. I did find upgrades for my weapons to make mining in space a lot easier. So that was originally a complaint I had, but it turns out I just had really weak Ooh, no, I'm out. I'm getting out. I don't want to have a space battle right now.
Warning. Threat detected. Hostile ships approaching.
Oh, you jerks. I don't want to fight you right now. Okay. Alright, I'm not going to talk for right now until I finish fighting these jerks. And as you can see, I'm not 100% great at these things. I hate you. There's supposed to be a reticle that comes up to help arc your shots so that when they attack you, you can hit them at an angle rather than head on, so you're gonna get hit by their own. I also feel like this happens way too much. When you're coming out of a planet, you just get scanned by pirates and whatever those are. How you like that, son? Reflector again. Good thing I have all this iron and titanium. It shouldn't be so easy for them to like get behind you. So maybe that, you know, that partially is just I need to be better at maneuvering my ship. Oh my goodness, he brought down my shield quick. I want to pick up the airship before it did what it just did and despawn. Awesome. And you're done. Bye. So yeah, I can handle it when it's like 2 or 3 ships, but then there are some times where it's freighter getting attacked, 10 or 20 ships. That's where I have problems. I'm pretty probably more I can think of. I don't want to have and listen to me go on, that stuff. So I'm gonna end the video right here, and eventually come back to this topic another time. As you can tell, I'm not a regular YouTuber, so I don't have the skills that really have attention. So if you don't like what you watch, then I'm an novice. I just like playing video games, occasionally like wasting my opinions on them. And I might do this some more and get more adept at it, get more good at it. By any stretch of the news, I'm not a good streamer. So you can get enjoyment out of how badly I am at games. That's why it's, called melzie stuff to do. And I'll maybe have videos where I'm more just playing the game instead of providing commentary, so you can get some enjoyment out of my reactions to things like getting attacked by sentinels, or encountering creatures on planets, or getting into space battles. Hope to do some more of these. Maybe something will be interesting and maybe not. Do you have anything to say? Feel free to send me a comment. Thanks for watching.